The Quad Fellowship was announced only 2 short years ago, and has quickly risen to become one of the most competitive fellowships in the entire world. With an acceptance rate of less than 1%, the Quad Fellowship is awarded to 50 of the most promising young STEM leaders, providing them not only with a $40,000 grant, but also access to one of the most exclusive networks in the world and a free trip to Washington, D.C. As one of the winners of the 2024 Quad Fellowship, today I'm going to be walking you through the application that I use to win this Quad Fellowship, and then also give you as much advice and tips as possible around how to ace your final round interview. So without further ado, let's crack into this video. The Quad Fellowship was launched in 2022, backed by the leaders of the 4 Quad countries, which are the United States, India, Japan, and Australia, with Joe Biden himself announcing the fellowship. From the moment it was announced, it immediately skyrocketed in popularity, with more than 3,200 people applying in the first year alone. This was because not only did it give fellows a $40,000 living stipend, but it also gave them access to one of the most exclusive STEM networks in the world, and finally a 1-week intensive leadership development course held in Washington, D.C. for free, and the inaugural cohort got to go to the White House. For my 2024 cohort, I was selected from more than 3,000 applications, and so I'm going to help you now to write your winning application. For the Quad Fellowship application, you're required to submit your resume, 3 recommendation letters, a 650-word personal statement, and 2 supplemental essay questions. So the best way I can teach you how to submit a winning application is literally just to share what I submitted. All of my materials can be found in the description in my Google Drive folder, where I have all my Quad Fellowship materials and also a ton of other materials from all my other videos, all for free. Go check it out. Okay, first up is my 650-word statement of purpose, which asks you to describe your academic and professional objectives. It's really important to make the distinction that this is not a personal statement. This is a statement of purpose, which means you should only focus on your academic and professional experiences. For me, I was applying to Harvard University, as you can see, which is where I'm now studying, for a Master's of Education in Learning Design, Innovation, and Technology. And so that's what all my professional interests are around. It's around education and education technology. So I'm going to read it out verbatim, and hopefully that will help you to write a really strong statement of purpose. At 23 years old, I'm working to transform Australia's education system as we know it. As a 6-time co-author and the co-founder of one of Australia's largest edtech non-for-profits, Elucidate Education, I have worked tirelessly to provide more than 100,000 high school students with their education by giving them equitable access to the textbooks, online content, and educational videos that they need to succeed in school. Additionally, as a life skills educator, I've published my own non-fiction book called Realizing Dreams, made countless life education films, and taught thousands of students essential social-emotional skills through giving speeches at their schools. However, these efforts only scrape the surface of my ambitions for providing millions of disadvantaged young Australians with access to more equitable and holistic education opportunities. So there, just really setting the background of my achievements in a very concise, very short paragraph. Let's continue. The field of edtech in Australia is heavily underdeveloped when compared to the US, and I believe that edtech is one of the missing pieces required to transform Australia's education system. Therefore, my ambitions are to develop 2 nationwide edtech initiatives that will significantly advance Australia's equity and holistic education efforts. My first edtech initiative aims to expand Elucidate Education Australia-wide to provide our 750,000 Year 10, 11, and 12 students with free access to all the textbooks, online content, educational videos, and assessment software that they need to succeed in school. My second edtech initiative aims to build a nationwide life education curriculum that will be freely available on the Elucidate Education platform. To do this, I plan to collaborate with world-leading experts in social-emotional learning to create engaging videos and online content that will equip millions of young Australians with the knowledge they need to thrive beyond school. So very clearly, first couple hundred words, I've explained my background and my professional interests and my professional goals, and now I'm going to move into how Harvard is going to help me achieve these. The EDM in Learning Design, Innovation, and Technology at the Harvard Graduate School of Education is undoubtedly the best program in the world to empower me to achieve my ambitions. For expanding Elucidate Education Australia-wide, I want to ensure that I'm designing ethical education technologies that provide targeted support to marginalised Australian students from low socioeconomic, rural, remote, and Indigenous backgrounds. By pursuing my HGCE concentration in global, international, and comparative education, I will learn from world-leading universal design researcher, Professor Jose Blackorby, and 2 of the founding fathers of EdTech, Professor David Docterman and Professor Christopher Deedy. With their decades of experience pioneering world-leading education technologies, I will gain a comprehensive understanding of the universal design principles, inclusive learning models, and user-centered design strategies, and how they can be translated into the design of impactful, ethical education resources at Elucidate Education. For developing my life education curriculum, I plan to learn from world-leading children's educational media designer, Professor Joseph Blatt. He has pioneered educational media shows such as Sesame Street, and his units will provide me with a wealth of knowledge on creating films that are grounded in design principles. Pairing this with internships at educational media production companies in Boston, such as edX and Khan Academy, will be the perfect hands-on experience I need to grow my filmmaking skills and shape my life education curriculum to cater to young Australians from all backgrounds. Okay, so that's how Harvard's going to help me get there. Now let's move into the conclusion. From the innovative and groundbreaking nature of my two EdTech initiatives, I believe I can make a significant difference in the lives of millions of young Australians each year. By expanding Elucidate Education to be Australia-wide, hundreds of thousands of Australian students from low socioeconomic backgrounds will gain free access to all the textbooks, online content, and educational videos they need to succeed in school. Additionally, by introducing Australia's most comprehensive life education curriculum, millions of young Australians will be equipped with the critical social-emotional skills that will allow them to thrive after school. So that's my statement of purpose. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of how you can structure yours. Start with your professional experiences, then move into your goals, then explain how your university is going to help you get there, and finally just some closing sentiments and remarks. Okay, now let's move on to the supplemental essays. There are two 250-word supplementals, and the first one is you need to explain how your experiences have shaped your life and shaped your professional interests. For the purposes of time, I'm going to skip over this answer, but I'll attach a screenshot that you can use to read in your own time. Essentially, just figure out 2 or 3 key life experiences that have really triggered your field of interest, and then explain how they've kind of amalgamated into the person that you are today and why you're doing the work that you're doing. The second essay is the real essay that I want to focus on, which is called the innovation essay. And basically, it just wants you to explain a time that you led an initiative to positively impact others. In 250 words, you've got to be able to explain this. And so I'm going to talk about how I co-founded my non-for-profit, and that's my positive experience, I guess. Let's get into it. In 2019, I mentored a class of year 10 students in a low socioeconomic school 20 kilometers outside of Perth, and I asked them, who believes they can go to university? Out of 30 students, only 2 put their hands up. Awakened by the reality that Australia's education system is highly inequitable, I committed myself to improving access to education opportunities for hundreds of thousands of marginalized students. At 18 years old, I co-founded the non-for-profit Thrive Ed, which authored Year 12 textbooks and used the proceeds from every 2 sales to produce and donate a third to the library of a school in a low socioeconomic area. Working from 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day for 13 months, I designed the textbooks to be all-inclusive, meaning they contained all the relevant Year 11 and 12 content, tests and exam notes, extensive problem sets, practice exam papers, and hundreds of pages of work solutions. Through school book lists alone, we were able to support more than 1,000 Year 12 chemistry and math students. Additionally, through running rural donation trips across Western Australia, we were able to donate hundreds of textbooks to socio-economically disadvantaged students. Understanding that students also need a world-class education platform to succeed, in 2022, I merged Thrive Ed with another education non-for-profit to form Elucidate Education. Since founding Elucidate Education in 2022, we've been able to transform the lives of more than 100,000 students by giving them free access to the textbooks, online content, and videos that they need to succeed in school. And that's my application. As I said before, you can find all of this in the Google Drive link below with my resume, all my application supplementals, everything you need, so be sure to check that out. Now, once you've submitted your application, which is typically due on April 1st, you then have to wait till around May 15th to May 17th to find out if you've been selected for a final round interview. The final round interview is really where things start to get serious, and it's very intense. Less than 5% of applicants make it to the final stage interview, so approximately from 3,200 applications, you're in the top 160 people by this point. So you're doing pretty good. Whilst I can't reveal the exact questions I was asked, I'm going to go above and beyond to help you to prepare. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be asked completely different questions to what I was anyway. In the final panel interview, you're going to meet with 2 interviewers for a 20-minute virtual interview on Zoom. During the interview, you're going to be asked 5 questions, and you need to average around 3 minutes and 30 seconds for your response times for each question. The questions they ask will aim to achieve the following 5 objectives. The first one is, why are you passionate about using your studies to affect positive change? The second is how does the Quad Fellowship align with your values? The third is to be able to elaborate extensively on the key aspects of your STEM work, and they might just ask specific questions about your work. The fourth is questions around how you do ethical STEM research and ethical STEM work. And then finally, at number 5, how does your STEM research or work influence policy in your country? For me, I struggled with the last 2 points, which were to do with the ethics of my work and how my work influences policy, because a lot of my work is entrepreneurially based and not research heavy, so it's quite hard to answer these questions. But if I'd known this in advance and prepared accordingly, I'm sure I would have had a much smoother interview. But I think if you just spend some time really thinking about all of these 5 points and how does your work address each of these and how do you align with the scholarship values, you'll be more than prepared for your 20-minute interview. I just want to close out this video by quickly talking about my life as a Quad Fellow. So I was announced roughly 2 months ago now, and it's just been so awesome connecting with 50 of the brightest and most talented, hardworking, driven, incredible STEM leaders that I have ever met. Just meeting with them over Zoom, and we're going to be meeting in Washington in October. Just with the initial Zoom meetings that we've had so far, I have just really connected with every single person. They are so phenomenal, and it's such an inspiring cohort to be a part of. And then finally, I get to head to Washington in October for a 3 to 4 day intensive leadership development, and I get to meet with a lot of STEM leaders, and I'm already so excited for it, so I cannot wait. This is such an awesome opportunity. I really hope this video helps you in reaching your Quad Fellowship dreams. Please reach out to me in the comments with any questions that you have. Also contact me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. That seems to be the place where I get a lot of questions from you legends. But I really hope this video helps. Be sure to comment any questions you have, and I'll see you all in the next one, and good luck.